We see from your website that your focus seems to be on providing investigative solutions. Can you elaborate further on that?
Certainly, every company at some times experiences dysfunctional behavior from workers, managers, supervisors, vendors, or even customers. They may also experience difficulties from other third-party influences on their business. This behavior, whether unintentional, malicious, or systemic, impacts on the business. Most often, it manifests itself as increased costs, but can also impact revenues or increase a company's risk and therefore overall liability. An investigative solution is a solution designed to gather the necessary information needed to isolate and describe the problem in a manner that provides management with the tools they need to positively change this behavior.
Can you provide any real-world examples of how this has been achieved?
Yes. In one recent case, we conducted an undercover operation at a manufacturing facility in Ontario. The problem, as initially described to us, was that the productivity coming from the night shift was significantly less than what was expected of the shift and not even nearing the efficiencies routinely achieved by the day shift. We recommended an undercover operation, and as the company was currently hiring, it was reasonably easy to get our investigator hired. Once there, after a period of getting to know the players, our operator identified a person who seemed to be the de facto leader of the shift. While not a supervisor, the person did have a close relationship with the primary supervisor responsible for the night shift. This leader was a dysfunctional employee. He was drinking on site, sometimes vandalizing equipment and product in a small way, disrupting others at work, and generally being a nuisance. He was, however, favored by the supervisor and was never disciplined for even some of his more outlandish activities. At the same time, however, other employees were routinely spoken to or disciplined for much less significant activities. The disparity in how persons were dealt with led to more dysfunctional behavior and less productive work habits on the part of the majority of the workforce, who felt they were being treated unfairly. Once the situation was identified, we reported our findings to management. They transferred the supervisor to another shift and almost immediately began to see gains in productivity to the extent that the night shift is now meeting or exceeding expectations. The savings through this investigative solution were significant for the company.
What other areas can a company expect to find investigative solutions for a problem?
Well, we can assist with spiraling WSIB premiums. We can provide support in the event of a labor dispute or disruption, safety and compliance issues, drug and alcohol abuse in the workplace, theft problems, internal fraud, purchasing schemes, Bill 160 workplace investigations, long and short-term disability claims, salesperson effectiveness, due diligence investigations, competitive intelligence, and many other areas.
You mentioned WSIB premiums and short and long-term disability costs. Could you describe an investigative solution for these areas?
Sure, whether it's WSIB premiums, insurance premiums, or self-insured costs, those systems are in place to assist employees in the event of a legitimate injury or sickness. When claims are made outside those parameters, costs increase to the company significantly. An investigative solution in this area has two cost-reducing benefits. The more immediate benefit is if a claim is proven to be dishonest or fraudulent, the immediate costs associated with those claims can be terminated, and the impact on the company in terms of increased premiums reduced for at least that specific claim. Long-term, the deterrent values of investigating such claims in a professional and unbiased manner promotes an environment in which persons are less likely, or not likely at all, to pursue a fraudulent claim. In fact, in some cases, we've been able to reduce these claims in their entirety. This results in significant cost reductions for the employer and provides additional resources to be available for those who truly are injured or sick at work to rely upon.
This may be a touchy subject, but how can someone, a court or individual, say, rely on your objectivity? After all, the customer pays you.
Well, it's a legitimate question, but not touchy at all. Whenever we take on an assignment, we set out to both prove and disprove an allegation or theory. If we're talking, for example, about an injury claim, we set out to establish any information that either proves or disproves that the person has an injury that is restricting him or her in the manner stated in the claim. Our observations are made normally with video. No video is edited out. Video is supported with our investigators' contemporaneous notes of their observations and a full, unbiased report. Such reports contain no opinion evidence, but simply the actual description of observations without conclusion by the surveillance operative.
If a company has a problem and needs to find an investigative solution to it, what would it cost them?
We don't charge anything for an initial consultation.
What is the best way to initiate contact with you?
On our website at www.investigators-group.com or at our toll-free number 1-800-SOLVEIT, SOLVEIT.
Bill, what's the scariest thing you've had to do as an investigator?
Make a sales call.